About a year and 6 months ago, I received a phone call late in the afternoon. The school secretary wasn't in, so I took the call. And on the other side of the line was a voice that said, "I'd like to speak to the principal." I said, "Speaking." Said, "Would you like to become a partner of possibility?" And I thought, oh, yes, that's a new line for selling photocopiers. And I said, please tell me a bit more, because I hadn't heard of the program. And the lady on the other side sounded very enthusiastic but guarded. I don't know if it was my tone of voice. She couldn't see me, I mean, that much I knew. And then I said to her, the two things that all principals would usually ask when they get calls like this: will the school benefit from it? And will there be growth for me? And the answer on the other side was yes. Now, the person on the other side I hadn't seen, so she didn't know how tall I was or how small I was. So when she said growth, you see, there was that actually didn't happen physically. But out of that developed a relationship with Veronica. Now, you've heard about the possibilities. Veronica is a master puppeteer. Everything happens behind. She's very quiet. She says absolutely nothing, but she plays those strings so skillfully and successfully. And she gets you to do things that you don't know. And then, of course, on the other side, there's Louise. Louise comes along and gets you to think about such a lot of things that you didn't dream about in a wonderful and thought-provoking workshops. But I was then told to meet with Andy, and I was just told that Andy is from England. The only thing I know about England is that Tottenham Hotspurs is the best football team going. Okay. And I met with Andy. We had this meeting. It was going to be just before the group of principals were going to meet with their business partners. So Andy and I kind of quickly spoke about what is expected. We didn't know what was expected. I don't think anybody knew what was expected, right? But I think Veronica, she's devious, right? She's really devious. Because she knows how to manipulate, not in a negative way, in a positive way, to get the best out of people. So Andy and I rush off the next Tuesday to the meeting, and we meet up with the other persons, and we're surprised that the others haven't met yet. So we actually one up on them. But what we do meet are 7 or 6 wonderful principals and 6 wonderful business partners. We don't know them, it's the first time we meet. And there's already a sign of genuineness and sharing. And a sign of camaraderie that, again, only with hindsight could one think that Veronica had been very instrumental in sculpting this wonderful sessions. The principals got together and we spoke about all different things. And we found out how different we were and also how similar we were. Then you know how special their business partners were, because they have done those things with you. But what was the special between Andy and I? We were in a very special relationship because our school is not very far from here. We're like 10 minutes away from here. And that played a massive role in how we communicated with one another, because Andy could simply just come up to us. He also invited us down here to this magnificent premises. I mean, you must be blown away by it. A lot of our teachers have never ever been in a environment other than a school environment. So when they came in here, they were like drooling, wow, look at the room, You haven't seen the canteen downstairs, or have you, And then there was this wonderful air of people wanting to be part of us. And that was Andy's forte here. Now, when you came in, you must have seen these huge pictures of a giant. The Woolworths Financial Services have got a theme which is sculpted around Roald Dahl, the writer, which is closely related to our English. Roald Dahl's The Big Friendly Giant, BFG. So the first thing that Andy does is, he gets all the teachers a copy of the BFG. So everybody starts to read about what the Woolworths Financial Services thing's on about. And this starts something that later develops into something a lot bigger. Through our discussions, Andy, myself, meeting with other parents, Andy says, you know, it's time that you become part of AfriTwin. So, what is AfriTwin, Andy? It's an organization that twins a school in South Africa with a school in the UK. And he arranges for us to meet, and we go to this wonderful meeting. I'm supposed to go to this meeting in Somerset West, but it is absolutely storming, and on the last minute they say to me, you don't have to go to Somerset West, you can go to a meeting that's here in Plumstead. And out of that meeting, we meet up with a person called Jane Martin. Now firstly, I need to just tell you something about Andy and Jane Martin. You don't want to have bosses like them. They only work at night. Right? They only work. Now this was the one thing that I asked myself when I parted with Andy. I would like to become a lot more technologically able. But I didn't mean to become as technologically able as they are. Why? These persons, okay, just break away from that. I couldn't sleep one night, and I took out a tablet. Andy had given me the loan of a tablet. So I take out the tablet and I'm looking at one of the emails that have come through. And there's an email from Andy that has come through. And I look at the email, and it's 3:30 in the morning. I think, okay, I'm going to respond to this email. Now, I don't usually respond to emails quickly. You know, it's like a week later, 2 weeks later. I think the principals, they all know this is how we operate. But I think, let me respond to Andy. And I respond to Andy. And I haven't even closed the cover of the tablet when the response comes through again. So I look at it and it's Andy again. You see? And I thought, no, I'm not going to respond to this email because he's going to go on. That's the way him and Jane Martin operate. They operate a tablet, a BlackBerry like you don't know how. They're sitting here, he's sitting here, I'm actually surprised that he's not doing this. He's sitting in all the meetings and he's texting persons all the time. And that shows just how busy they really are. But it's something that I have learned from them, how to be more technologically able for the benefit of education, because that's what Andy did. Now, you've met Andy, and you've seen how he wows people, right? So Andy comes to visit our staff first. He comes in our staff room, and he wows the teachers. And next, we invite him to come to our PTA meeting, and then he wows the parents. And while he's wowing the parents, he says to the parents that we're going to send some of the teachers to London. Now, at that stage, nothing had been finalized yet. We were still in the process of working through so many things. Lo and behold, a little while later, Jane Martin responds, we've been accepted to send a teacher to a school in the UK. And Andy, again, has got ties with people in the UK, so he organizes us to go to a particular school called Penshurst, close to where he schooled, but a school very similar to what we are. Not the same, it's just similar. But he had promised not to send one teacher, but 2 teachers. Now, where we were going to get funding from, heaven alone knows, because the British Council only makes available funding for 1 teacher. But that's Andy, and I think that's the business partners here. They make things happen, right? They tell you you can do it, and you think, it's not going to happen. But believe me, all of them, each one of them, they have that special quality of taking you to another level. All of them. They all come with they're all in different working environments, but they all have the same common goal. And I think that was the beauty of Symphonia, in that they all came with a genuineness to uplift education. That was the bottom line. No strings attached. They would give up as much of their time as possible. So we get two teachers, we said. Then we found out that Andy had promised when we were here doing a workshop here, that Andy had said that the champions will be allowed to go overseas, but Andy thought that they were two. And so did I. And so when I came to the staff room in the morning to announce that we were going to send 2 teachers away, I was told that there weren't 2 champions, there were actually 3 champions. So I quickly phoned Andy, and he said, no big deal, we'll send 3, and I thought, don't know where we're going to get the money from. I'm still wondering where we got the money from. Anyway, they went and they came back, and it was a wonderful thing. How else did we benefit from this? We have an archaic computer lab. Andy, together with the help of some of his friends, are in the process of revamping this. He's also managed to secure an Xbox. And we've put this thing together, the Xbox and the computers in the computer lab. And just to show you how unselfish all our persons were, it wasn't for us as Dryden. The whole system was set up, and we invited persons who Andy says sit on a lot of money. Now, if Andy says they sit on a lot of money, then they really sit on a lot of money. His bosses, Maria Ramos, this is money. So he invited people from Woolworths Financial Services, and he invited people from My Planet and from my school to come and have a look at what we were doing. And at the time, we Skyped. We got our learners to Skype with a school in the UK called Penshurst. So our learners have actually used technology now to bridge the gap between South Africa and the UK, and to make it seem as if they are right here. And what a wonderful time they had, speaking to one another. So our thing was not only about getting things from our business partners, but also from making our learners global citizens, because that's one of the things that we need to look at. It's great, I think, to have all these facilities, but if we don't prepare our learners to face the future, which is on one of the slides you saw earlier on, and that future is global citizenship. The world is shrinking, and we need to be part of it, and all the partners here have done these wonderful things, and I think the objective is to make our juniors, our learners, become global citizens. We've had wonderful times speaking about this. We've had we did a vision and strategic plan with John. All the persons have so much to offer, and we as Dryden, we're really grateful for everything that has happened to us. The sharing, we get together to share information. There's just such a lovely vibe and warmth that when you walk out there, it doesn't matter what the department sends to you. They can say you must do this extra thing in triplicate or quadruplicate or you name it. You can walk away and think, hey man, with my partners and with my friends and colleagues, this becomes all the more worthwhile. Why? Because our emphasis and the emphasis of our partners is on doing what is right for the children. It's doing what is right for the learners. And for that, I say a big thank you to all the partners, and especially to Andy, and I'll allow you.